the first to know Nsem-Pii TV.
Now, adia ba ko a mabanya etwa mu no mu ye ne yie in our health sector. The transition from the manual way of doing things to the more electronic, and I say a friend, the more digitalized way of doing things in our health sector. Anything, and can you know ni say Oko hospital answer na doctor ni ebenya wo medical history and a medical records. Na what to me a proceed to say wo hwe wo no. I just yakotwe for the book kakraka. Na doctor ni bia ha no. But aban we buy no. And as aban etwa mu no buy no. Through digitalization, we introduce ade bia na efe na health information management system. Ya na eboa na Oko hospital. Bibia electronic, yetumi access wo health data, everything by way of medical records electronically. Emma ekwani mumpoma omutumi enkoketi the National Health Insurance System into the Health Information Management System. Yara say bibia juma. Now company na responsible for this transition here from light wave health information management system. Abayi eno mo eco contract yana ne bosom $100 million so mbe connect 950 health facilities nationwide. In fact, aduma ne koso a nansiya Ghana for do na ne be adwen say the health system experiencing major disruptions. Miankasa make say me experience be just last week at Oko Boye teaching hospital, where doctors do not have access to patient medical history or medical records. Tibisa ni ebisa wo eduro be na na no dada ede na na ye wo. Say it looks as if we say recollected data afresh from patients. Entire system breakdown. Health insurance say nyejuma ama majority of hospitals say wo mayemu I go back to the cash and carry system. Eno a health minister yera Akandoh move from one media house to another explaining the sudden disruptions in this lightwave health information management system na juma perfectly. In fact, all can say bibi. And someone can even say, Ghana yentumi traho emma a foreign company enya access to our health information management system because according to the Honorable Akandoh, lightwave health information management system no a foreign based and local based. Afei, they are not giving us value for money. I just say so. Now we are going in for a new contract with a new management solution system. And no na yera Oko Boye edin chiremu abase. Yera Akandoh. And some are working na no krabie atro na wodi. Mo magana fo hunu say mo pese mo te say mo gi contract no edema another firm solely because lightwave health information management system no the new patriotic party in the buy. And ti say wo ka say lightwave foreign based firm no atro enokra bi anim lightwave nya foreign based. Yara interesting revelations. Yeah. Dr. Oko Boye what they say in fact you are Akandoh in some working in an Ukrainian na afi akoya dem guase join news tiyanko na yanko jinchire mo free Dr. Oko Boye on this lightwave health information management system problems ya ne Ghana for do na no experience ya hunu de or come no credit action
public. An IT company, what makes them get a job is the competitive advantage, the special thing they have that other IT firms don't have. So Lightwave, if their program were, until they came to Ghana, nobody had a system that made different hospitals talk. They know you want competitors, some competitors to take their job. Here you are saying that we've not completed your program. Your contract expired December 24. I will not talk about extension with you. Give me the source code. And Lightwave said that when I give the source code, virtually the mystery about our program is in the hands of those who would go there. So this is what Lightwave said. let's discuss a transition. If we are exiting, we will give you everything, but then we would have known how to exit. But not when we've not discussed how we are transitioning. And then the minister says that, oh, the data of all Ghana, this is what they tell everybody, is sitting somewhere in India. Please, that is a total fabrication.
Okay.
Look, I was a minister. Send your reporters to go to Ministry of Health building, first floor. That's where all the data is, right? He is on a seventh floor.
Remote?
He's not even stepped there.
There's no cloud. It's not remote.
So what's happening is that the Lightwave system is such that every hospital have data on their server at where the hospital. So Kofanoche have DS at their server. Right. But Ministry of Health has a remote one which serves as backup. Right. So Ministry of Health has for the whole of Ghana. Right. Now, I would not like to go into details, but if you're an IT person, you know that every company that is operating data systems on a national level, worst case will have some form of offline, offshore, like they call it.
Reserve, yes, or backup. Mm-hmm.
I don't want to speak downgrade the minister. Right. But some people, when they hear that, oh, these people have offshore support, their assumption is that the data is at the offshore. But anyone with IT will tell you that big companies like Amazon and the rest sell spaces for companies who want to do their work to have backup.
And this is where I'm interested in some parts of the contract that was signed.
Yeah.
Was it agreed at the time that data captured under this Lightwave system will belong to the Republic of Ghana?
I'm happy you've asked this question because, again, a lot of misrepresentation. Until we handed over power to NDC, the data of Lightwave has been that of Ghana. We own it.
Are you sure about that?
Oh, my brother.
The minister says they've requested for that.
And again, before I forget, one sad thing about this minister's behavior is that all his claims have been without any backup or evidence.
No, but you haven't provided us.
No, but he's the one alleging.
Yeah, but you have also made some claims here.
With all due respect,
right?
I started a law program, but because of pressure and all, I stopped. Anyone who has done basic law will tell you that it is the one who comes to allege. He says that the company is foreign owned. It's a lie. He's not shown you the incorporation. In fact, a journalist, you guys did a good job. A journalist asked him, if it's a foreign company, why didn't you go to parliament? He said he didn't need parliamentary approval. It's because it's wholly Ghanaian incorporated. Number two, this claim that the data was owned by a foreign company is another falsehood. It's a fabrication. The data that Lightwave has is the property of Ghana. Lightwave only, because they installed the program, provides support services. And by the way, before I forget, the reason why now we're having disruptions is two things. Before I forget. Number one, Lightwave, when they realized that the minister was not ready to give them any paperwork to show that they have some reason to be working with the state, they stopped their support service. So if any...
so you're telling us on record that indeed they did that?
No, you see, the minister says switch off...
that's what he just told us in the interview.
But the education is that when you go to, let's say, Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, they work. Their data, they are autonomous. Every hospital is autonomous. What it means is that you have your data and you have your server, you work. It is when you think you are in trouble that you come to Lightwave for support.
Yes.
So when your data is off, there's no switch at Lightwave. It's like an expert.
But if Lightwave has access to the source code, the metadata and whatever it is that they have access to, they could remotely have some impact on the application.
The way the system works, we were there.
Yeah.
If Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, by the way, and before I forget this, Lightwave is only able to access you remotely. Mm-hmm. So any facility, and apparently there were recent reports, some facilities that were, unfortunately, some facilities connived with those who want to take the job from Lightwave. And they started... But
you're saying all of these things without evidence as well. No, so you're also throwing...
See, I'm giving you a background. Mm-hmm. I'm saying that some facilities, Lightwave couldn't access them because their local internet network was disconnected or disabled. Now, some of those facilities, because they disabled themselves, their systems, when they had problems, they couldn't get to Lightwave to support them. So I am saying on record that beyond the contract...
People had interest.
Yes. People are, and
also, you're not able to substantiate.
No. In addition to the interest, the point I want to make is that Lightwave, listen, you are a minister. Look, I wouldn't have behaved this way. Mm-hmm. If you have a company that provides support service to you, and they are telling you that, look, we work for you. We have workers we pay. Yeah. But since you came, listen to this carefully. Yeah. This minister, until the audit, and he called them, has refused. They've been seeking audience. He's refused to meet them. That's number one. I'm telling you this on authority. He's refused to give them audience as a company that works with the ministry. Number two, this minister, apart from refusing audience with Lightwave, has refused to get into any form of agreement that will give them a basis to still provide support. And by the way, if no paperwork is done and your contract has expired and you continue to give support, I can just tell you that all that is a job gone waste. Yeah. You don't have any ground to claim. So Lightwave legitimately did not provide support service. Mm-hmm. And that is what led to the disruptions. And the second one also is that because the Lightwave system was a very efficient system, guess what happened? Health insurance, when we were there, was going to procure a software to do their billing for them from the hospitals so that they don't need to receive folders, hard copy, and go and do billing. It so happened that the Lightwave system can be configured so that you integrate health insurance claim system so that Lightwave generates the claims for health insurance automatically. In addition, most of the hospitals bought software to do billing for them. Lightwave again integrated his system to banks for hospitals like Kolebu and the rest. So they didn't need to go anywhere. All these were integrations. And guess what? We got Lightwave to do this outside the contract. And some of these facilities and entities like NHIS were discussing with Lightwave how to pay for these services. Because of the stubbornness, I use that term, of the Ministry of Health, Lightwave said, okay, all these were outside the contract. I did it in good faith.
So the minister is fair when he says there's blackmail. No, because you're doing all of this, yes, knowing that you hold the power, at least the technical power.
It's not about power. Yeah. That's why you have to be efficient when you are a public official. If we had concluded the work with Lightwave, we have done all this 950. There is ownership, there will be transfer, sort of. Maybe the only thing will be service level agreement. Right. Even that one, if we push out, we can take it away from there. But the point I'm making is that here you find yourself as a minister. You know that this is a company that provides you support services. You've not discussed even how to replace the support services.
He says in the interview that a 2-year extension, technical extension, was supposed to be granted to Lightwave.
It doesn't state any. Look, we gave extension twice, 2 years. Yeah. What he said he offered Lightwave, he said he was offering them a service level agreement. Yes. Just support service. Yes. Now, if you offer them a service level agreement, the rest of the 400 and whatever hospitals out of the contract with the remaining 23 million, are you saying that one will go to another person? You see, these were the things that the minister refused to speak to. The minister was not interested in they going the other mile to complete the work. And they, as a company, reasonably said that don't choose and pick. If you are interested in service level, which we will do, what about this? He goes like, I'm not going to do it. And look,
but that should be the prerogative of the minister, isn't it? Yeah.
But with all due respect, with all due respect, the contract, and I'm happy you've reminded me. Yeah. If you read the contract, clause 28.1 and 2 speaks about disputes and says that when there is a dispute, listen carefully, please, between the two parties, that's Government of Ghana and Lightwave, within 28 days, the two parties should try to solve it amicably. If they are unable to solve it amicably, a third party must help with what? Mediation. My brother, why do you think they mention a third party? Is the natural rule, is the basic proof of justice. Right. If two parties are contending, you can't have a situation where one of them is the one determining how it is solved. That's what this minister is doing, which is a very flawed orientation. And I will give my recommendation. Remind me, I have one recommendation I'll give for Olivia, how to solve this problem. Right. You cannot be the one to be solving a problem when you are party to the dispute. You understand? Now, the clause 28.1 and 2 also says that if a mediator is unable to solve, then you resort to adjudication. That's litigation, either nationally or internationally. All the claims this minister is making, it's all within his bosom. No third party. In fact, before I forget, this minister has no transcript written by someone who both parties will agree that this is really what transpired when we met.
The legal argument here is that all of this will come to naught because there is no standing contract between the government of Ghana and Lightwave.
But there are natural consequences. I have a contract with you to give you 1,000 textbooks for your students. You have a school of 1,000 students. 1,000 costing 10,000 Ghana cedis. So each one is 10 Ghana cedis more or less. I've supplied 700 to you, right? and you've not paid me, you've paid, let's say, 8,000, yes. You've not paid all. And now you are telling me that, look, apart from the book you gave me, normally when it gets done, you come to bind it. Let's talk about the binding. But we shouldn't talk about the rest because the contract has come to an end. As long as the full objective has not been satisfied, the two of us must have an agreement that even if not by force that you should supply, that will show an orderly termination. So as we speak, this minister, what he has failed to do as a minister, which is very serious, is to find a way to orderly, assuming he wants to terminate, to orderly terminate the contract. And you know one serious consequence.
And he says it's because Lightwave keeps turning off and on the system.
But you know one serious consequence. I've told you that claim, even he has not shown evidence. One serious consequence is that the minister was asked, you have now gone for someone new. And guess what? This new person is not going to complete the rest of the 500. He is going to redo. Can you imagine? This is serious financial loss. This new company is coming to redo the 450 that Lightwave has done so that they get them running the 450 whilst we have the rest of the 500. And guess what? The minister was asked, are you going to get all the data on the 25 million Ghanaians that Lightwave have? You know what he said? Because Lightwave gives data to NHIS, they are now going to NHIS. They don't have the original data to reconstruct. Why are you going through this tedious, tiring, cumbersome, expensive road when you could have done an orderly termination which gives you all this data?
Okay, and while you point at this current minister and all the faults that you find with him, there are questions that you also have to answer because you are running the ministry. Yes. How come that this outstanding payment that we're talking about, you couldn't settle it as a government?
So you have a project that is to last, let's say, 3 years.
Because to be fair to Kwabena Minta Akandoh, he's taking over the contract. You were supposed to have settled all.
With all due respect, if you had paid all the 100 and the vendor had not finished, it would be a serious violation. But the vendor normally is like building it. The vendor does the work and then we produce certificates. And I've explained to you that in some regions where facilities had to cooperate, there was serious resistance. Right. So it's not the timelines are not achieved only on the part or efficiency of the vendor, also on the part of the state. So both the vendor and the state more or less contributed or had reasons why it extended. I think I have to make this point clear. I'm not saying that this government cannot say we are not interested anymore. But the point I'm making is that you have someone providing you service still. His paperwork has come to an end and he's telling you, I'm willing to continue. But at least give me some paperwork.
Commitment?
Yes. So that when I continue to do this support service for you, there will be a basis to make claims or bring invoices. You are a minister that has said no. You have a company that has worked with government of Ghana for 8 years. They want audience with you. You say, I will not give you audience. The only time you gave them audience, they come, I've audited you. They say, okay, boss, thank you for auditing us. Can we have the audit report so that we'll look at the claims and respond? He said, no, I'm giving it to Attorney General. Whilst waiting for AG's response, that's what he told them. You've not disclosed any AG's response. Today, I listened to the minister on Nsem-Pii. He says that I will show you to you in a flash. You are keeping everything to your chest. Meanwhile, you have a dispute with another party. I'm saying that a public official that knows his job and is competent, who is not hiding anything or has no premeditated thoughts, would confidently tell the vendor that, take a look at this damning report.
Okay. Would you prefer, and this is why I want to hear your recommendation, would you prefer that we wait on the Attorney General to make his pronouncements, or you feel there's a way out in the interim?
My brother, I think I have to quickly explain some things to you. The Attorney General is a family member of the party, the government of Ghana. Yes. So if you look at the contract agreement that Lightwave had with Ghana, even when the Attorney General says something, it's still the two of them. In fact, his advice is more or less Akandoh's paperwork. Yes. His approach towards facing the dispute. But in all this, we're still not going to a third party. So if they decide to take the advice of the Attorney General to court, then they are following the stuff. Their Lightwave will have the opportunity to what? To respond. But guess what? Should you land in court, it means that the job technically shouldn't have been taken away from the vendor because you are still in the dispute resolution process. But before Ayini gave Akandoh the, how do we call it, the legal advice, he's already engaged a vendor. This is very serious. And you are the media. I'm throwing a challenge. Find out. I've told you that this Lightwave one went to PPA. It went to Ministry of Health. Who did Akandoh take this current vendor to give approval for the work they are doing. That's number one. Number two, this current vendor is a company with a name. Why is it, and this is very serious, that the minister uses the term Ghana Health Information Management Systems, creating a very deceptive impression that this is a state-owned entity like GIPS, the one you have that does the e-switch. Meanwhile, it's a private company that would generate invoices and be paid like lightweight.
Are you doubting the competence of technicians and IT experts that you have at the Ministry of Health?
So I think your viewers must listen to this.
Are you doubtful on that? Do you have doubts on that?
All this while, our technical people have been part of this project.
Yes.
There are many occasions when the state, through ministries and agencies, work with foreign parties.
Yes.
Look, even our roads, when you see a road contractor who is either local or foreign, they work with urban roads engineers. It doesn't mean that our engineers are not good. Please, have you understood? Yeah. So the point I'm making is that this minister creates the impression that...
It's a state-incorporated system.
He creates the impression that Lightwave, that one is, in fact, he says it's a foreign owned, which I've debunked.
State-owned.
And he also said it's this one is state-controlled.
Yes.
The Lightwave one was also controlled by us. In fact, the vendor was sending a monthly report and takes instructions all the time from the state. This minister has told Ghana that I was dealing with a private person. Now I've come to Ghana Health Information. Meanwhile, unfortunately, it's a private company. He's not bold enough to mention the name of the private company. I have respect for companies, so I will not mention any company. But I'm telling you on authority that this minister is using a private company that will be paid. That company is doing the work of Lightwave. Yet, he was not bold enough to say it is, let's say, the ex-company Health Information. He said the Ghana. There are serious questions you have to ask the minister. And by the way, the minister tells us that he will spend, when he was asked what the cost will be, he says that he's going to spend half of what we're supposed to spend. Guess what? This Lightwave project was led with $23 million for the whole Ghana to be networked. This minister is telling us if it should be half of the 100, he wants to pay $50 million and start from ground zero. In fact, he says that...
but would this entirely be ground zero? I'm asking that question because the Lightwave system is supposed to be a build, operate, and transfer. So if the contract expires, the infrastructure should be available to the people. Again,
it comes to the dispute resolution. I don't want to say this minister is being... I don't want to talk about acting some way. Because he has failed to look at the clauses provided by the contract to exit, if you want to exit properly. He finds himself in a tight corner where he's unable to ask for the data that Lightwave has. So when he was asked, guess his answer? His answer was that instead of saying that I'll approach them and get it, he's saying that I'll reconstruct using health insurance. Why this tedious road when you can go through a proper termination? And I'm saying that he is saying this company now is going to Confanoche to go and start training people. We did this 8 years ago. Why do you spend money for Christ's sake and for the sake of Ghana? Why are you going to spend millions of dollars to start work from hospitals that Ghana has already paid for? Look, if you talk to 100 health workers in Ghana, doctors, surgeons, and all, it's not a perfect system. You might find 3 or 4 who complain. But the Lightwave system is what Kolebu of all hospitals is using the theater. This is what they've used to manage us smoothly. Why do you want to reinvent something which is working?
Have you provided full briefing to the minister, and by extension that of Dr. Ajiman Menu? Do you know whether there was a full briefing on this Lightwave saga, knowing that it has a far-reaching implication for the sector? Did you do that? You
see, the rules of natural justice, there are some very basic fundamental flaws of the minister's approach. If you're a journalist, whoever you are, immediately you see it, you know that something is wrong. All this while his talk is on from one side.